Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Big Akar Ahmed and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about what is going on in Gaza, what is happening to the Palestinian people. Once again, we need to go all gas, no brakes on this topic. Continue to talk about it, continue to expose Israel for their war crimes, for everything that they are doing and have been doing over the last 100 years. All of the hypocrisy, all of the fake propaganda and BS that has been coming through the media outlets and the news over the time being. Now, we're going to go ahead and react to the British MP. He's a member of parliament and he is speaking on the world stage and he is saying that he hopes Benjamin Netanyahu burns in hell. And I have never seen someone actually in a political position react and speak the way that he is speaking, with so much passion and with so much emotion and actually feeling some sense of, hurt for what he's actually talking about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this and see what he has to say.
When you look at the photographs and the pictures and the videos that come from there, and you hear the screams of people screaming as the Israeli government burned men, women and children alive. They burned them alive. And the world stands by while 15,000 children are being slaughtered. 35,000 men and women and children. And it's unbelievable, the genocide that's happening. A child with no head. A child with no head, and the Israeli government say it's a mistake. A mistake. I hope that Benjamin Netanyahu burns in hell the same way them children and their families burned. I hope him and his generals and the far-right government in Israel, that when their God finally brings him to the resting place, that he deserves to burn in hell. Because what is happening now, not alone is it apartheid, not alone is it atrocity and a war crime, it's just horrific. It's just horrific what they're doing. Where is their soul? Where is the soul of the Israeli people that allows their government to do this to children? Where is their humanity? The Israeli people, the Jewish people, after everything the Jewish people have suffered down over the decades, that they would allow their government to do this to other human beings. Human beings. But in the eyes of Netanyahu and this far-right Israeli government, Palestinians are human beings. But today here, the Irish people say, we recognize Palestine. We recognize that they are human beings, just like every one of us. Shame on Israel. Shame on what they've done, and will never be forgotten.
Okay, there's a couple things I want to address here. Big ups to this gentleman, this brave man, for going ahead and speaking the truth here in this situation. This is something that you have to obviously remind the world, is that Palestinians are human beings too. For some reason, there is so much propaganda and so much media influence trying to dehumanize the Palestinian people. They're terrorists, they're evil, they behead babies, they do all of these different things, right? They're Muslims, and Muslims believe they're radical, they're this, they're that. The terminology and the words that are used to attach to these human beings are to dehumanize them. They have been so much called human animals by the Israeli government in public. Like, this isn't even something like, we called them a human animal on accident. Like, no, like literally gone on stage and called the Palestinians human animals. They are trying to dehumanize the Palestinian people, because the more they dehumanize the Palestinian people, the more they can blow up and explode and kill without anyone doing anything or anyone caring. So first off, I like the fact that he has to go ahead and state that the Palestinians are human beings, because he understands that they are going ahead and making these Palestinian people look like non-humans, look like human animals that are just blowing up and getting rid of. They're terrorists, they're this, they're that. And they have dehumanized them so much. And they have used the media and the video games and everything else to desensitize us across the planet of death, of war, of all of these atrocities and all of these things. Playing, war games and playing shooter games and being, exposed to pornography and being exposed to all of these different things that are just completely degenerate, completely horrid for our minds and our brains, because our brains are computers. Remember, guys, our brains are computers. They go ahead and perceive what you feed it or what you give it, right? So even if you have a conscience and even if you have a soul, your brain is overridden by a bunch of garbage, by a bunch of stuff that you have been dehumanized and completely controlled by in other aspects. Now, he has talked about how God Almighty will go ahead and punish Benjamin Netanyahu, and he hopes that he is in hell and he burns as he has burned these women and children, these Palestinian people. God Almighty never will forget the atrocities either that happen here, as you have said on your stage here, that you and the Irish government will never forget, and the people will never forget what Israel has done. God Almighty will never forget, and God Almighty does never forget. So don't worry, there is a day of judgment. There is a Lord, there is a Creator that will deal with these unjust people. They can have the whole entire world. They can have the physical world, all the money, all the oil, all the land in the world. But when they die and we live a forever eternity, when we live our afterlife, they're the ones who are going to be eternally sad, eternally hurt, eternally in pain, eternally punished. And God Almighty is all merciful. God Almighty is all fair. And this gentleman does not deserve mercy. This gentleman is a horrible, horrible, horrible human being. And people say, who am I to say that? Who is he to say that? Who are you guys to go ahead and judge this gentleman? We're not anyone to judge this gentleman. We are giving our own perspective. We hope this gentleman burns in hell for eternity. God Almighty will take care of him. How God Almighty pleases to take care of him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of this evil human being, these evil governments, not just Israel, but everyone who goes ahead and backs this, everyone that goes ahead and backs everything that has been happening in the Middle East for the last 30 years, not just in Palestine, not just in Gaza and the West Bank, but everything that has been happening for the last 100 years, 200 years, 2,000 years, everything that these people have done to their own prophets, to, Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him. These individuals will get what comes to them. Every single man that is in a power position, that does not know how to use his power, that takes advantage of the power, the position that God Almighty has placed him in, he will go ahead and feel the wrath of his Creator, of his blessings that he has been given, that he has thrown away in this life for his afterlife. And this is something that is so sick. You can hear the pain in this man's voice. You can hear the shaking in his voice, and what he's imagining just as he's giving this speech. He's literally almost crying in essence because of what he is saying, and it's because of how intense Israel has gone and what they have done over the last year now in the Gaza Strip, in the West Bank, on the Palestinian people. And it is truly sick, and this is only getting worse, and this is only going to inflate into a bigger and bigger problem for the Jewish people, for the Muslim and Arab people all in that region, and the whole entire world is going to have to pay for what is going on and what is done. So if you think this doesn't affect you, this most certainly affects you. This affects the United States, it affects Great Britain, it affects Israel, it affects Russia, it affects China, it affects Iran, it affects the whole Middle East, it affects everything in every region in the world, and it will backfire, and we will feel the backfire from this, not from inside of Palestine or not from inside of Israel. We will feel the backfire of this inside of America, inside of the UK, inside of all of these countries. So be very, very, very aware of this. And before we go ahead and get out of here, I want every single person that goes ahead and listens to this and sees this, please go on X and look up the Israeli propaganda, look up the Palestinian propaganda. Go ahead and see the videos on both sides, see what they share, see what they show you. if you are over the age of 18 at least, please, 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 if you're a child, if you're under the age of 18, do not look at this stuff. This stuff is not something that you need to see, you need to be exposed to. And like I said before, we have been dehumanized and brainwashed through our content over the last 10 years using social media and video games and movies and entertainment to go ahead and see all of this stuff as just like a movie clip, right? When this is so real. If this stuff was happening to your family, if this stuff was happening outside your window, you would be freaking out. You would be having your social anxiety. You have social anxiety. Imagine bombs being blown up outside of your house. You have depression. Imagine bombs being blown outside your house. Why do you have depression? Because no one likes you at school? Look what's happening outside. Why do you have depression? Because your girlfriend left you? Look what's happening outside. Your parents are being bombed. People are being kidnapped. People are being burnt alive and blown to shreds. Your baby brother just lost his head, quite literally, to an explosive airstrike. These are the things that are happening to the Palestinian people, and it's truly, truly sad that people in other countries sit and complain and cry over what's happening in their current day life, and they're funding what is happening over there with their taxpayer dollars when they have the voice to go ahead and try and stop their government or to put a stop to what is happening. They don't do anything at all. They sit back, they watch, and they actually go on social media and play into the propaganda. Good, this is what they get for, defending Hamas. Good, this is what they get. Every single one of them are terrorists. Remove Islam. Islam is radical. Like, what kind of hateful, racist, disgusting beings are you? Just like this gentleman said, where are the souls of these people? Where are the souls of the Israeli people? And where are the souls of every single one of these fake, disgusting Zionists that exist on planet Earth that go ahead and defend the actions of these atrocities that are taking place in today's world? This is truly disgusting, especially when you go and you read the comments and you read what people are posting and you see how they're mocking and laughing at the dead bodies that are exploded and burnt and destroyed, and the families, and what they say about the religion and what they say about these people, how they've completely been dehumanized and how they have try to dehumanize these human beings is truly, truly, truly disgusting. And I ask every single one of you to go ahead and seek knowledge, seek the truth, and to go ahead and look at the proofs. Go ahead and look at the videos. Look at everything that's going on today. We have technology. We have cell phones. We have cameras everywhere. Why don't you go ahead and see what's happening rather than letting everything get fed to you through a tube? Go ahead and go on X. It's completely unfiltered. It's completely, you're allowed to post whatever you want and say whatever you want on that platform. Twitter, X. Go on there and look at what is going on. Please go ahead and go look what's going on. It is truly disgusting and it is truly horrific. Thank you guys so much for coming in today. God bless every single one of you. And once again, free Palestine.